A very good evening to you and welcome to the National Day Parade 2001, brought to you live by MediaCorp, and I'm Bernard Lim.
I'm Melissa here and welcome to the celebration of Singapore's 36th birthday. To jumpstart this celebration, the Commando Red Lions parachuting display team.
Well, these are some of Singapore's best parachutists. All have clocked at least 300 descents.
9 Red Lions in all. Soon they'll be making a special formation for this Singapore's 36th birthday. 3 in a tight star formation, surrounded by 6 other commandos.
Well, 3, 6, 36, and this special formation is the Red Lions free-fall tribute to Singapore's 36th independence anniversary.
You know what, Bernard, with all 9 free-falling at slightly varying speeds of about 190 kilometers per hour, maintaining the formation was really a lot tougher than it looked.
Certainly, and in fact, all the spectators in the stadium right now, they're looking up to the sky. The Red Lions are now about 3,000 to 4,000 feet above ground as they've just activated their parachutes.
What a breathtaking start to the National Day Parade for 2001.
Well, throughout the whole show, please look out for answers to the NDP quiz as well. More details can be found in the latest copy of MediaCorp Press, today's newspaper.
55,000 people gathered here at the National Stadium for another amazing and exciting parade. And for the first time ever, we're actually getting a double treat of the Red Lions free-fall display.
And of course, look out for the other team of elite commandos who will be presenting another sizzling first later on in the show.
The Red Lions have jumped from a height of 10,000 feet from the Super Puma helicopter, and this year, the spectators of the stadium have more than a cheering role to play in the display.
That's right, we can hear in the background spectators with their clapping and cheering. They can determine where the Red Lions should land. And the Red Lions will actually fly towards and land on the side of the stadium that makes the most noise.
It looks like there's still a little bit of time before that happens, Bernard. All the Red Lions performing today are Commando free-fall instructors. And here's what they look like to the spectators at the stadium when, well, they looked up.
Some in the crowd are, of course, making good use of the inflatable clappers from the fun pack to make sure at least one free-faller land on their side of the stadium. And this is a nice view from the bottom there, looking up at the 9 free-fallers coming down. There you see the inflatable clappers.
Always a crowd favorite, the SAF Commandos have been actively involved in free-fall displays since 1981, and looks like we're getting our first landing. We've gotten our first landing.
And that's our first Red Lion, who has just landed sailing down the national colored parachutes, and that's the first answer for the quiz in today's newspaper.
There's a second landing. First Warrant Officer Ricky Yeo, who followed second Warrant Officer Koh Bing Yang, was the first to land.
And of course, the third to land is First Warrant Officer Lin Vincent Ng.
You know, Bernard, apart from the National Day celebrations, the Red Lions have represented Singapore in regional competitions in countries such as Thailand, Malaysia, and Australia.
And landing in the center there is, of course, Staff Sergeant Melvin Ho.
While it's these individual commandos we see now behind every jump, second Warrant Officer Wong Kam Man has landed. Behind every jump is a whole team of people behind the scenes.
Well, that is Staff Sergeant Chua who has done more than 600 jumps.
Second Warrant Officer Lin Vincent Ng, he's a free-fall jump master, 600 jumps to his name.
And of course, we're waiting for, last but not the least, of course, the second Warrant Officer, Tong Sing. That's the 8th jumper. One more coming down.
I think excitement looking at the free-fall parachutists are causing you there, Bernard. This is the last one. First Warrant Officer Simon Carr. He has 3,000 jumps to his name.
Absolutely breathtaking start there. Spectacular display.
What a dramatic entrance of the Red Lions. Perfectly timed, perfectly executed.
And of course the crowd just loved every minute of this spectacular opening. Everybody all geared up and ready for this big parade. And for the first time, as you can see there in the background, a most authentic reproduction of the familiar Shenton Way skyline.
The key feature there being, of course, the Benjamin Sheares Bridge, the icon of this year's National Day celebration theme, building bridges, forging futures.
And the focus of this year's National Day celebrations is on the young of Singapore.
Well, speaking of the young of Singapore, 400 students of Newtown Secondary School performing Rhythm of the Drums, the Singapore Heartbeat. Well, this item is an excellent reflection of this year's NDP focus, the youth of Singapore. The boys and girls, beating on 7 different types of percussion instruments of the 3 main ethnic groups in Singapore, the Malays, Chinese and Indians. For example, the Chinese percussion instruments used are big drums,
Well, it's really very fitting that the percussion instruments are used to play out the Singapore heartbeat, as it's the only group of musical instrument that can be found in every culture.
Well, the one you're seeing there are the students using kolatham. It's an Indian culture instrument. Very varied types of sounds produced by these different percussion instruments, yet making great rhythmic music together.
Actually, if you look carefully, Melissa, you'll find Chinese students playing the kolatham, perhaps Malay students playing the Chinese drums, Indian students on the kompang, and just to name a few combinations.
And that really demonstrates a scale of cross-cultural participation that's really quite unique to Singapore and Singaporeans. Well, this is kind of like a musical microcosm of Singapore, an island of diverse races and cultures, and yet all united. Unity in diversity, all beating to one Singapore heartbeat.
And well, you've just given the second answer for the NDP quiz of the Today newspaper.
Heartbeat. More than 400 drums and percussion instruments in this item. First performed at the official opening of Newtown Secondary School's new premise in Dover Road.
And this was choreographed by Tay Po Soon, who was himself a student at Newtown Secondary School. And Mr. Tay now works with the People's Association, and according to him, it was quite a challenge to get these young drummers to beat together to the music.
Where's a challenge these 400 boys and girls have overcome with great amount of hard work and teamwork. They've been toiling under the hot sun for many hours to bring us this performance, practicing very hard for months at the Singapore Polytechnic Stadium.
And each student performer was handpicked. And for the audition, the students had to tap to music to demonstrate their good sense of rhythm.
The drum instructor is Robin Tan from Jurong Community Centre's Lion Dance Troupe.
Creativity and hard work and practice there. Each one of these 400 performers has to listen and watch each other carefully to create a unified sound.
The music you're hearing is specially composed by Lim Plon Pling from the Singapore Chinese Orchestra.
Well, 7 diverse types of sounds from the 4 main ethnic groups in Singapore integrated in harmony, just like how Singaporeans have lived and prospered for more than 3 decades in consensus.
perfect blend of music and rhythm. The drums have almost always been the instrument of choice for celebrations, whether it's the Indian culture, the Malay culture, or the Chinese culture. You hear the drums most often, in fact, on happy and festive occasions like weddings, New Year's, or times of harvest.
To express joy, power, vibrancy, happiness, and optimism. That's a very nice formation, as you can see there.
Intense concentration there.
A percussion extravaganza, I would say, a showpiece of the stamina, tenacity, and promise of the youth of Singapore.
The Singapore heartbeat as the driving force to take the island from strength to strength, as expressed here by these young boys and girls of Newtown Secondary with the rhythm of the drums.
As intense concentration there from this young performer. A rhythmic expression of multicultural living, of racial cohesion and religious harmony.
Indeed, a marvelous performance. Rhythm of the drums, the Singapore heartbeat.
And right now, we'll take you back to some of the action at the National Stadium before this live telecast at the pre-parade party.
600 cheerleaders from all of Singapore's junior colleges, 600 exuberant young women opened the pre-parade segment with a spectacular dance sequence.
And their choreographer is none other than Silva Macaulay, a professional dance teacher, a very well-known and well-respected name in Singapore's ballet scene.
Ms. Macaulay has been the choir choreographer in many previous National Day Parade performances. In fact, she started the trend of using hand props in choreography.
Well, you know, Melissa, the job of the cheerleaders is not done after their main opening number. In fact, throughout the entire parade, these 600 bubbly teenagers will take up strategic positions in the stadium to whip up the mood of this 55,000 capacity crowd, leading the cheers and the games.
Wow. Great emphasis on the roles of the cheerleaders this year.
Well, there's no doubt the vivacious and bubbly personalities of these energetic cheerleaders would definitely add shimmer and sparkle to this special celebration this evening.
And also entertaining the crowd before this live telecast began was the BT Band.
Well, the band is really made up of two secondary school bands. The B in BT Band stands for Bukit Panjang Secondary School.
And the T for Teck Whye Secondary School.
And that's a beautiful formation of the Vanda Miss Joachim, Singapore's national flower since 1981.
The Vanda Miss Joachim was chosen for its hardy and resilient qualities and ability to bloom throughout the year.
Qualities we strive for, Singapore and Singaporeans.
The band members have been practicing hard since last December during the school holidays.
And since then, barring exams, they've been practicing every week.
And although they've been performing for over 30 years as part of the mass band display, this is the first time the BT Band is performing a solo item by themselves.
And this musical partnership started because the two schools used to share a common field.
And even before the merging fever hit the business world, these schools already knew the advantages of combining their two small bands into a large one.
Well, the BT Band has since won the gold medal at the Singapore Youth Festival 6 times consecutively, and even participated in the closing ceremony of the SEA Games held in Singapore.
in their best at this National Day for Singapore.
And we're now back to the live action at the National Stadium. The weather has been very kind today, and in fact, we can see the red and white reversible floppy hats and hand fans in the National Stadium Fun Pack put to extremely good use there.
And in what is another first this National Day, the precision drill performance carried out by 160 students from 30 different secondary schools.
Both boys and girls, and it is choreographed by First Sergeant Chok from the Singapore Armed Forces Provo Unit. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the NCC in precision and at the go!
Oh, 96 boys, 64 girls from the secondary 2 and 3 cohorts of the National Cadet Corps, otherwise known to us as NCC, the Precision Drill Squad. And there you see the girls in sizzling red.
And the boys are dressed in dazzling white silver.
Well, it's not just the colors of the outfits that's different. These boys and girls, they play different roles in the performance.
The young men execute the tricky maneuvers with their Mark IV rifles.
And of course, the young women were impressed with their precise flag twirling.
Well, traditionally, this drill is performed by the SAF Provost Unit. This year, though, they're giving the limelight to these young Singaporeans.
There you see a nice formation of NCC there. Well, the SAF Provo unit, though, has given the full support to their young counterparts, providing the choreography and training for this performance.
Well, the deployment of students instead for the drill this year is especially timely because the youth of Singapore is the focus and the emphasis of this year's celebration.
Well, 2001 is also a landmark year for Singapore NCC. It's their 100th anniversary.
Back in 1901, the NCC started out as the Army Cadet Corps, as a training ground for volunteer corps in Singapore.
It was all boys back then, and with the first girl cadet unit being formed only 66 years later in 1967.
Well, they've certainly come a long way.
Well, the choice of a lively music reflects the vibrancy of these young people injecting a bit of fun in what's normally a very solemn military display.
Perfect symmetry there. Attained through relentless practice and selfless sacrifice of many precious Saturdays since January by these boys and girls.
Oh, the crowd just love that one. Nice burst of fireworks from the Mark IV rifles.
Special handheld fireworks. Wow!
Well, the choreography of this performance was provided by First Sergeant Chua, who used to perform as a member of the SAF Provo unit back in the National Day celebration of 1998.
You know what, Bernard? Each Mark IV rifle weighs 5 kilograms. Tough enough to handle when in doubt. What more for these 14, 15-year-old boys?
And that's your third answer for today's newspaper quiz. Today's newspaper NDP quiz. It's rifle.
Apart from training for the routines you're seeing here, these young men and women had to go through special exercises before each practice session to warm up and strengthen their limbs.
From here on, the boys will execute a whole series of more complicated and difficult rifle maneuvers.
You're right there, Brendan. No child's play here. The moves have to be precise, exact, controlled, and perfectly synchronized. wonderful thing about this performance really is that everyone matters. Everyone makes a difference. Just one step out of place, one move out of sync, and the whole performance, the whole formation could just fall apart.
Oh, that's really an amazing display of not just manual acrobatics, but cooperation as well.
With the rapport these young people have shown in their performance, you wouldn't think that these boys and girls have probably never met each other before the practice sessions for this drill.
Wow. Spectacular, a resounding blast-off for the excellent performance by the boys and girls of the NCC.
And what a terrific finish to this item.
Very well done, boys and girls of NCC, making their exit now to a specially written song for the NCC centenary, a song titled We Are Ready, composed by Major Tony Wei.
The dignified march also provides a suitable transition in mood, from the lively, festive mood of the precision drill to the more solemn part of today's celebrations, the parade.
This marks the end of the pre-parade segment.
Well, we're getting another good look at the center stage, featuring the sprawling reproduction of the Benjamin Sheares Bridge.
The largest LED screen too, ever at a National Day parade.
The crowd enjoying the fun packs.
The parade RSM Master Warrant Officer Philip Kang has just entered the stadium.
The 45-year-old warrant officer has been with the Singapore Armed Forces for almost 27 years now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major for this evening's parade is Master Warrant Officer Philip Kang, Regimental Sergeant Major, Headquarters Commander.
And at his command, the total defense contingents who've been waiting outside the stadium will march in.
Well, the central band, conducted by Captain Philip Tong, providing the parade contingents with a beat to march to.
Well, this is the first time Captain Tong is participating in the parade as conductor and chairman of the band subcommittee, as well as senior director of music, SAF Bands.
And the Singapore Police Force contingent, the first of 16 total defense contingents, making their way into the stadium through the 3 gates.
There are 5 tenets in Singapore's total defence, the Singapore Police Force being one of 3 contingents representing the tenet of civil defence.
2 other civil defence contingents in the blue overalls and white helmets, the Singapore Civil Defence Force.
Followed by representatives from the Ministry of Environment and carrying the small flags in.
That's Team Singapore there, the contingent, led by, of course, Sheikh Alauddin, this former Silat world champion.
The NTUC contingent is also part of the social defence group. Is led by Member of Parliament for Chengshan GRC, Yo Guat Kwang. Mr. Yo is also the Director for Productivity Development and Quality Lifestyle Department.
Well, Singapore's total defence strategy is made up of 5 tenets. One is the military, of course. And there's, of course, this nice shot of the PAP's contingent,
which makes up another tenet of Singapore's total defence, social defence. And they're led by MP for Sembawang, Hawazi Daipi.
And there's the youngest lot of the participants in the parade ceremony, a contingent made up of uniformed groups in Singapore.
Those boys and girls represent the psychological tenet of Singapore's total defence.
Well, the presence of these youths is symbolic of all the part all Singaporeans can play in the defense of our island state.
No matter where you're from and how old you are. For economic defense, the staff of ST Engineering Singapore Contractors Association and the PUB.
Well, the importance of a strong economic defense cannot be reiterated often enough, especially during this particularly challenging economic period, not just for Singapore but for the rest of the world.
Akan menghadap ke hadapan, ke kiri dan kanan.
And of course, a key tenet of Singapore's total defense is the military, formed by our men in green. The army, as seen here, carrying the designed and made in Singapore S21 assault rifles.
Also represented are the Republic of Singapore Navy and the Republic of Singapore Air Force.
The strains of Also Sparch by the Central Band again. The signal for the start of yet another highlight of this parade, the formation of words and numbers by the 4 military contingents of the Army, the Navy and the Air Force.
The rest of the 12 contingents making up civil, social, psychological and economic defense of Singapore remain still in solemn attention. And look at this spectacular view of the formation. It's a formation of NDP2001. To the rousing applause of everybody in the stadium.
Speedy formation there. All within just 14 bars of music.
Baris! Turun! Sanja! Top!
And let's take another look, a good look at the top of this formation, NDP2001. Parade Commander Lieutenant Colonel Andrew De Silva has taken over from the Parade RSM. Lieutenant Colonel De Silva is 38 years old and has served Singapore in our armed forces for 19 years now.
He is currently branch head of Headquarters Armour.
While the drum roll heralding the arrival of the Guard of Honour contingents.
Leading the march-in of the Guard of Honour are the 33 regimental colours of the Singapore Armed Forces.
Well, these colours are symbols of pride, emblems of loyalty and courage of the units and must be protected at all times.
In fact, in battle, should the colours bearer or the ensign suffer any mishap, another ensign must immediately take over this duty of honour and never let the colours fall.
Well, the Police Guard of Honour are the first to enter the stadium. There you see the Navy Guard of Honour. And just ahead of the Navy Guard of Honour is the Republic of Singapore Air Force Guard of Honour.
And making their appearance now just rounding the corner in their red berets, the Army Guard of Honour made up of commandos.
Well, in Singapore, the Army is the most senior military defence set up followed by the Navy, the Air Force, and then the police.
Kawalan! Kawalan!
480 of our best men in military defense.
Kawalan! Kawalan! Akan menghadap ke hadapan! Ke kanan! Wow! Sight!
Well, the parade contingent lineup is complete now. As you see the colors taking up the final positions with the 3 state colors.
The total number of colors on parade this year, the 3 state and 33 regimental colors, 36, coincides exactly with this celebrations of Singapore's 36th year of independence.
Ke dalam! Low! Plus!
A final adjustment to the Guard of Honor's final positions.
Well, the military parade is a staple every National Day. It's a reassurance to Singaporeans as well as a reminder that while the island has achieved much, Singapore needs to organize its people to defend the country against all forms of attack, military and non-military.
Kawalan! Komandan! Hormat! Saja! Tak! Baris! Rusau! Senja! Tak! Turun! Senja! Tak!
While we're awaiting the arrival of the members of parliament, here's the 900-strong combined schools choir to entertain us with the first of 4 national songs.
And this is one that's sung often on Children's Day in schools, Munnaeru Vaalibaa, All Forward, O Youth.
Well, this year's focus on the choir's quick costume changes. Well, how to do it? Let's just say a few pieces of humble Velcro and some creative ideas can go a long, long way.
Conductor Lin Jiuan, a music specialist from the Core Curricular Activities branch of the Ministry of Education.
That's Munnaeru Vaalibaa of Forward or Youth, one of the perennial favorite national songs. It was included in our first Sing Singapore song selection back in 1988.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our Speaker and members of Parliament.
Baris! Ready! Go!
We're all at attention now for the arrival of our MPs in their familiar all-white outfits. Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Tan Soo Khoon.
An elected MP since 1976, Mr. Tan Soo Khoon has been the Speaker of Parliament since 1989.
Dr. Michael Lim, Dr. Lilian, Mr. Iswaran. So some of the faces that you might be able to catch as you watch the parade.
Our members of parliament, men and women chosen by the people to lead and represent Singaporeans in their constituencies.
Well, members of parliament look almost as excited as the spectators in the stadium. Another national song now, this time one in Malay, entitled Orang Singapura, or the People of Singapore, a song of hope and optimism.
Sudah jadi orang Singapura, hati mahu baik, berbudi bahasa, mesti tahan rasa, kuat berusaha, cukup tata tertib, hormat orang tua, barulah orang segar, hormat tanda kita, bolehlah dinamakan orang Singapura. Jikalau bekerja, janganlah tergalau, sanggup tanggungjawab, jangan curi tulang.
Singapura are using mini gompang there.
Well, you might notice that the national songs have been given a modern touch, giving these familiar songs a fresh new sound. That's a good work of music director Eric Watson.
Our nation's top leaders have arrived, the ministers of state, our cabinet ministers, our deputy ministers, and also arriving, Senior Minister Lee Kuan Yew.
There's the Senior Minister coming down from the back. Senior Minister Lee Kuan Yew is Singapore's first Prime Minister. He was in office from 1959 till 1990.
The respect and support the Senior Minister still commands is evident here in the stadium. A man of bold and acute intelligence, Mr. Lee is widely respected worldwide for his astute insights on the changing world.
And Senior Minister Lee will celebrate his 79th birthday, September 16th, about 5 weeks from now. Senior Minister Lee accompanied there by Dr. Tony Tang and Dr. Richard Hu. And as we await the arrival of Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong, another musical interlude.
Well, the combined schools choir has really been quite exceptional. Great singing, dazzling multi-changing costumes, colourful props, and this song next, Another of Hope.
It's called 世界更美好. We can change the world.
身边的一切，都市节奏，在催促我向前。不愿青春消失在盲目追逐之间，将我改变。
更美好, we can change the world. Great singing there. The choir has always been the pillar of festivities at the National Day parades.
The choreography then provided by Andrew Ng. Well, the stadium is solemn again, waiting for the arrival of Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong.
To welcome our Prime Minister, Mr. Goh Chok Tong.
Prime Minister Goh arriving in his motorcade and escorted by our traffic police outriders.
An extremely well-liked man in the country, the Prime Minister just turned 60 in May.
And receiving him is Chief of Defence Force, Lieutenant General Lim Chuan Po, who is the youngest Lieutenant General the SAF has ever had.
The Prime Minister will receive a salute before he takes a seat at the grandstand.
Prime Minister Goh will now take his seat.
Mr. Goh entered politics 25 years ago, serving as the Member of Parliament for the Marine Parade constituency, which still remains very much so his stronghold.
So this is Mr. Goh's 11th National Day Parade as Prime Minister since he took office in November 1990.
Ladies and gentlemen,
One last national song before the President graces us with his presence at the National Stadium. A song you might have heard often over MediaCorp radio.
You might have even seen his music video on Channel-5 or any of the other MediaCorp TV channels.
A song in English, sung by Singapore singing and songwriting sensation Tanya Chua.
This is Where I Belong.
morning comes around and I can't wait to see my sunny island in its glorious greenery. Whether rain or shine, it's still beautiful. Bright lights shine on the streets at night, guiding me closer to home, to a place where I'll be safe and warm, where I belong. Friends and families by my side, seeing me through as I grow and learn. Every day's experience, bittersweet or sour, they are still wonderful. As they become precious memories, they'll be kept close to my heart. And no matter where I am, I will always know where I belong. Where I belong, where I keep my heart and soul, where dreams come true for us, where we walk together hand in hand towards a future so bright. Where I belong, where I keep my heart and soul, where we are one big family. I want the whole world to know, I want to shout it out loud, that this is where I know I belong. Where I belong, where I keep my heart and soul, where dreams come true for us, where we walk together hand in hand towards a future so bright. Where I belong, where I keep my heart and soul, where we are one big family. I want the whole world to know, I want to shout it out loud, that this is where I know I belong. I want the whole world to know, I want to shout it out loud, that this is where I know I belong.
Yes, I want the whole world to know. I want to shout it out loud. This is the place where I belong. Sung by Tanya Chua, accompanied by the boys and girls from River Valley High and Peichuan Primary, winners of a National Day Song Challenge.
And that's also this year's National Day theme song.
But with the end of that song, the President of Singapore, Mr. S.R. Nathan, will arrive shortly.
The Presidential Lands Guards are in position to welcome the
And now,
President.
ladies and gentlemen, let's all rise and give a warm welcome to our President.
And the fanfare trumpeters have signaled the President's arrival. The President is received by the Chief of Defence Force.
Mr. Nathan will take his place at the podium for the national anthem, during which the Singapore flag will be flown for the first time by a Chinook helicopter and escorted by 2 Super Puma helicopters.
Rise!
The national anthem, Majulah Singapura.
Arise! Rusa! Tanya! Tong! Turun! Tanya! Tong!
And now all eyes in the sky and air salute from the RSAF for the President and Singapore. 5 A4 Super Skyhawk jets and 3 F-16 Fighting Falcons. A trail of smoke fanning out in a burst of joy is what's also known as the bomb burst.
The appearance of these fighter jets never fails to inspire and wow the crowd.
The parade commander will now invite the President to inspect the Guard of Honor.
Mr. President, parade is formed up and ready for your inspection, sir.
During the inspection, with music accompaniment by the central band, Mr. Nathan will be given the traditional presidential 21-gun salute.
And for the first time ever, instead of at regular intervals, the 21-gun salute this year will be fired in a special sequence in 4 volleys of 1 shot, a series of 9 shots, and then a set of 6 shots, and then a final 5 shots for 1965-1965, in honor of the year Singapore became a sovereign and independent nation. The 21-gun salute is being delivered from outside the stadium.
Inside the stadium, President Nathan is making his way to the contingents for the Guard of Honor inspection. The President is accompanied by Parade Commander Lieutenant Colonel De Silva, Chief of Defence Force Lieutenant General Lim.
The President is of course also escorted by 2 of his aide-de-camp, Major Sanisia and ASP Dominic Baptist.
The Army Guard of Honor Commander Major Lim Se-on addressing the President and asking that the President inspects the Guard of Honor contingents, beginning with the elite force from the Army.
The President proceeds with the inspection. You can hear how well the 21-gun salute is being integrated with the music from the central band.
The shots are fired from 25-pounder ceremonial guns, which have been with Singapore since before the island's independence in 1965.
Well, the next contingent lined up for the President's inspection, the Guard of Honor from the Republic of Singapore Navy. Each Guard of Honor contingent consists of 120 men in 6 ranks and 20 files.
It is a proud moment, a moment of the highest honor for all these 480 men from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force and the police to be included in this National Day Parade inspection graced by the President.
The 21-gun salute you're hearing in the background is a military tradition of the highest respect, one that is reserved for our head of state, President Nathan. After the inspection, President Nathan will mount the ceremonial Land Rover for a drive pass around the stadium for Singaporeans to have a chance to see him at a closer range.
This National Day celebration is the President's first at the National Stadium. Chief of Defence Force Lieutenant General Lim and Parade Commander Lieutenant Colonel De Silva will accompany Mr. Nathan in the drive past.
Well, this is a moment many in the stadium have been waiting for. The crowd is just totally enthusiastic with their waves. You can see them using all sorts of props from the fun pack.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The favorite is, of course, the mini Singapore flag. And then there are others who prefer their inflatable clappers for better visibility, as you can see.
An amount of creativity in action there too. You can see the spectators using anything, their scarves, to show their support for the President.
Mr. S.R. Nathan, Singapore's second elected president, is a well-respected man who began his career in the civil service as a medical social worker.
Big waves, loud cheering. The cheerleaders, the choir members showing their welcome too for the President. The 900 secondary school boys and girls in the combined schools choir have been doing such a great job the whole afternoon.
Mr. Nathan is indeed a symbol of what our S21 Vision stands for, that there are opportunities for all. President Nathan began with humble beginnings. He started work before completing his secondary school education.
And through sheer determination and hard work, Mr. Nathan completed his secondary school education and then gained his diploma in social studies with distinction at what some might consider the ripe age of 30.
A man of sharp intelligence and great integrity, President Nathan rose quickly through the ranks in the civil service. His portfolio includes Director of the Labour Research Unit, Acting Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Defence.
Mr. Nathan is also a founding member of SINDA, the Singapore Indian Development Association.
A proud grandfather of three, President Nathan was also Singapore's High Commissioner to Malaysia and Ambassador to the United States of America.
And just before he was elected president on 18th August 1999, Mr. Nathan was Ambassador-at-Large and Director of NTU's Institute of Defence and Strategic Studies.
With a big cheer from everybody in the stadium, the President would now be escorted to his seat by Lieutenant General Lim, Singapore's Chief of Defence Force for more than a year now, since 1st April last year.
Lieutenant General Lim received his third star at only 39 years old, a record in the SAF. But his military accomplishments have received recognition not only in Singapore, but also in the US, Thailand and Indonesia.
And in celebration of this special occasion for Singapore, the Feu de Joie, or Fire of Joy, by the Guard of Honor.
Three rounds of fire, a military tradition to express a sense of celebration, joy and festivity.
A third and final round of Feu de Joie, a military tradition originating in France.
Datang senja, tak. Turun senja, tak.
The parade commander will now request the President's permission to commence the march past.
Mr. President, may I have your permission to march past the parade, sir?
And the march past will soon begin.
Kawalan kehormatan, Russo. Yang lain, julung senja, tak. Kawalan kehormatan akan berjalan lalu dalam masa cepat. Bergerak ke kanan, ke kanan. Oh, ting.
And to the strains of the central band, the 3 state and 33 regimental colors of the SAF would take the positions ahead of all the contingents to lead in their march past and salute the President.
The 36 colors in the military has historical significance as battle color honors. They symbolize the closeness, camaraderie and esprit de corps among the troops of the Singapore Armed Forces.
Symbols of high battle readiness, the men chosen to be the colors ensigns have to go through rigorous selection criteria.
To ensure the colors fly high and proud, the strict criteria for ensigns include good bearing and height of at least 1.78 meters.
There you see the 3 state colors representing the Army, the Navy and the Air Force, along with the 33 regimental colors behind.
Kawalan kehormatan, tergerak, cepat.
Again, marching to the beat provided by the central band.
And at the same time, you might just be about to be able to hear them now. 5 A4 Super Skyhawks jet fighters and 3 F-16 Fighting Falcons joining the contingents on the ground to salute the President.
Formations of victory and arrow. This is what's known as the fan break, an aero salute there by the RSAF to Singapore's head of state.
On the ground, Parade Commander De Silva leading the contingents for the march past. They've almost reached the grandstand. They're getting ready for salute. For their salute to the President.
Well, that's this year's best combat unit, the Commandos. And they're led by Major Lim Vincent Ng.
Personnel from the Naval Diving Unit, Institute of Marine Systems and Institute of Naval Technology and Operations form the Navy Guard of Honor. And leading this Navy elite force is Major Lim Wee Kong.
So that's Major Lee Hong Ju there, leading the Air Force Guard of Honor, and they're formed with men from the Field Defense Squadrons of Changi Air Base, Paya Lebar Air Base, Sembawang Air Base, and Tengah Air Base.
finally, the Police Guard of Honor contingent, the group of top personnel from the Police Academy and the various police divisions, and they're led by Deputy Superintendent Syed Sagof bin Ahmad.
Very proud moment for our 480 men from the Guard of Honor, marching past the parade. And the Police Guard of Honor contingent is the final contingent for the march past.
The total defense contingents will not be involved in the march past.
Well, it's now dark right here at the National Stadium. The parade was perfectly timed so that the festive part of the celebrations will begin when dusk falls. And what perfect timing there.
And that, the brilliant fireworks, a musical fountain of pyrotechnics, herald the start of more festivities and fun in this evening's celebrations.
These bursts of sparks and lights have always been the highlight of every celebration. And today, throughout the rest of the night, there'll be more generous treats of these fireworks.
Fireworks, and that was your fourth answer in the NDP quiz found in the Today newspaper.
To our future that begins on the building we embarked on. This bridge is formed by creative building of a bridge. This bridge is formed by creativity, knowledge, and lifelong learning, and has its foundations laid firmly on our shared values. This bridge will lead Singapore from its present developed state to a world-class hub city. Shared values as the foundation. The S21 Vision serves as a compass for our future. Together with the 5 shared values, they form the solid foundation upon which Singaporeans will take on the new challenges ahead. Creative education as the process. In a knowledge-based economy, Singaporeans need to acquire the passion for learning and nurture the creativity to seize opportunities in a fast-changing global environment. World-class hub city as the goal. Singapore must become a great hub city of the world. In a competitive yet gracious environment, we will work hard to achieve a higher quality of living, where foreign talents are attracted to work, and even to stay. Forging futures. Our vision is to build the best home for ourselves, our children, and their children. Together, we make the difference.
And indeed, the shows tonight will illustrate our values in education, and social processes will take us to make our S21 Vision a reality.
Here's the second treat of a hot National Day favorite, the Red Lions Commandos descending again, this time in the more tricky environment of the evening light.
5 parachutists, different group of men from the earlier 9 Red Lions.
Carrying the titles of tonight's show themes.
The theme of this National Day is building bridges, forging futures, and our shared values is one way we can build our foundation of this bridge to lead us into the future that we envision for our island state.
Well, visibility at this time of the evening is low, adding on to the already challenging task of parachuting down into the stadium filled with thousands.
There you see the first title of the banner there from the first parachuter. That's Shared Values. That's Second Warrant Officer P. Krishnan.
And carrying the Creativity banner, the Second Warrant Officer Balasundran. Second Warrant Officer Balasundran has a total of 800 jumps to his name. Well, the night and the lights are really bringing out the beauty.
Must be quite a sight for the Red Lions parachuting down. That's Third Sergeant Tan Lee Kun, who has clocked 350 jumps, and the flag he carries, Global City.
Now, what's also different with this round of freefall display, Bernard, is that for the first time, jerks will be released just seconds before landing. Jerks, otherwise known as cold fireworks.
Well, this is Second Warrant Officer Ng Sing Huat approaching to land.
Keep your eyes on his ankles. That's where the jibs will be firing from.
There you go. Nice jibs there, strapped to his ankles.
Kind of make me think of him as a human rocket.
Human rocket.
Second Warrant Officer Ng Sing Huat there. And we wait now for Major Ho Kien Soon. Taking his time there. Ooh.
Really looks like he's enjoying himself there with those jibs up there.
For Major Ho and the rest of the Red Lions certainly make it look really easy.
Major Ho, the boss, CO School of Commando. In fact, they have to battle with the wind conditions. It's really much tougher at this time of the night, I mean.
Well, much credit has to be given to the organizers of every year's National Day celebrations for thinking out fresh and meaningful themes and ideas to marry information and fun, to make the 9th of August a memorable day for Singaporeans every year.
Well, this year's National Day celebration is organized by the SAF's 9th Division.
5 Red Lions commandos assembling for a salute to the President. Now they're making way for the rest of tonight's show.
Yep, and kicking off the first show tonight, or rather wheeling it off, these young children from the People's Association. And the title of the show, Shared Values as a Foundation.
A vibrant item celebrating the importance of a strong foundation of shared values in the young and families of Singapore.
And you see this blue billowing fabric passing down from the heads of the spectators to the center of the stadium signifies the inevitable waves of challenges we all face in the sea of life in striving to achieve our dreams.
But with a strong foundation provided by our 5 shared values of the nation before self, the family as the basic unit of society, support and respect for everyone in the community, living in consensus and not conflict, and racial and religious harmony, we would be able to sail through and rise above these difficulties even when the currents are against us.
Truly a vibrant display there by members of the People's Association. More than 1,000 participants in all, an equal number of people from each of Singapore's 4 ethnic groups. Amongst them, 190 children taking part. And this item emphasizes the importance of intrinsic values, character traits in the building of a strong people and nation.
Well, the sails carried by the young participants bear some of the attributes that will help keep us afloat in tumultuous times.
Filial piety, integrity, humility, caring, respect, loyalty,
perseverance, creativity, dynamism, vision.
Well, the rush of people into the stadium for the next part of the show express the vitality of Singaporeans, shaping the destiny of our island with energy in years to come.
Well, this next part of the performance features the importance of families as the basic unit of our society. And that's a very cheery sight. The opening of yellow and white umbrellas signify the maturity of love to marriage.
The umbrella is a symbol of each family, the basis from which values are inculcated in our young, through which we can weather any kind of life's unexpected storms.
And the children joining the couples under the umbrellas expand the union to a family.
And family, that's your 5th answer to the NDP quiz in the Today newspaper contest.
Now, these umbrellas are not your ordinary sun umbrellas. They're more than 76 centimeters in diameter and just over 3.5 meters high. But the participants are themselves exemplary examples of happy families working and playing together. Many in the field have performed previously with the People's Association for National Day and have actually roped in their family members to perform also for this year.
Well, the four main ethnic groups led by the giant masks symbolizing the different races in Singapore.
In their full splendor to represent Singapore's multiracial, multicultural heritage. The costumes are in fact also design fusions of East and West, a tribute to the four different races, integrating the best from the West with tradition.
Well, the four main ethnic groups united as Singaporeans, yet maintaining our distinct cultural heritage.
There you have the beauty of Singapore's multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religious living in full display.
Breathtaking sight there, I must say. The lights and the colors really playing off each other very well there.
Graceful dance of happiness and joy, expressing the beauty of Singaporeans living and playing together in racial and religious harmony with consensus, not conflict.
Well, this performance is especially timed to occur at nightfall to capture the full splendor of this event. A visual showcase of Singapore's dynamic multiracial society, living, working and playing side by side all together.
And the columns holding up the Singapore society of 5 shared values on 5 8-meter high inflatable pillars just right in front of the skyline stage.
Well, values of living in consensus, not conflict, the family as a basic unit of society, nation before self.
Support and respect for everyone in the community and racial and religious harmony. Look at that!
Smiley face fireworks there, beautiful. And that's a first at the National Day Parade, the smiley face fireworks.
And that will be what we'll call a bright smile.
Magnificent show there by the People's Association. A song next titled My Dream, based on the 5th movement of the late Dr. Chow Jie's Singapore Symphonic Suite for Large Orchestra. It's a tribute to Singaporeans' contributions in building our nation.
A duet by William Lim and Pamela Kong.
I had a dream of days gone by when we were young and full of hope. The many roads we had to take, the many choices that we had to make, so that we have a place called home, our island city-state of Singapore.
Beautiful lyrics and music arrangement here by Miss Linda Fang.
The verse you just heard reminisces the struggles in Singapore's founding years.
And the next verse aspires to an even better future and home for all Singaporeans.
Coming up too is a heliosphere performance of Dare and Grace featuring MediaCorp's 2 prominent artists, Lin and Vincent Ng.
I had a dream of days to come when we will
And there's he.
go from strength
That's Vincent Ng there from MediaCorp performing the heliospheres item. That's Lilin.
the many challenges we'll undertake, and it's because this is our home.
They really make it look so easy, don't they?
City-state of Singapore,
And it's because
A fantastic first for the National Day celebrations, an enchanting performance there by MediaCorp's Lin and Vincent Ng,
along with the angelic voices of 13-year-old Pamela Tong and William Lim. And the music's already begun for the next item. And the next step in building bridges, forging futures, performed by more than 600 boys from the Catholic High School.
And the title, Creative Education as a Process.
An item initiated and designed by the Ministry of Education.
The youth of Singapore again the focus of this performance.
Well, the props used are white styrofoam pieces, which on their own are mere blocks, but see how they come together with creativity and cooperation to link up to form this web of design. And they call this formation Striding Ahead.
So far, it's young boys on the field here. They represent each one and every one of us doing our part, developing our creativity, and with teamwork, look at the beautiful result.
Yes, it shows that every one of us makes a difference. The progress of Singapore needs each one of us to play our parts.
A geometric statement of creative education as the process to build a global city. And the theme of this formation is easy to tell, bridges.
Yes, education, knowledge, learning as the bridge leading us to a better tomorrow, our future, our goal as a global hub city.
Almost like clockwork, the boys are changing their formation again.
And look at these boys carrying what must be, to most of us, familiar shapes in mathematics. Pyramids, spheres, cubes, irregular shapes.
613 primary and secondary school boys of Catholic High. These 11 to 14-year-old boys have been practicing very hard for 5 months, sacrificing personal time to perfect this item for us.
Reminding us that creativity and education requires persistence, perseverance, and determination.
But this abstract formation is really an excellent exercise of creativity, but with the linear and round lines with edges and curves.
I mean, look at that. Human dominoes, possible only with full alertness and great sense of timing.
The smoothness of movement makes you forget they're actually humans and not perfectly set up domino blocks.
And that was your sixth and final answer for the NDP quiz. More details can be found in the latest copy of MediaCorp's Press, today's newspaper.
According to choreographers Lu Huan and Chong Ching, the continuous and almost unbroken lines parallel the tenet of lifelong learning, and they called that formation growth of knowledge.
A lot of discipline and practice synchrony in this display. Months and months of hard work. And look at this formation now. You can almost see it coming into shape from our MediaCorp aerial view there. The aerial camera. A two-dimensional pyramid. It might not be so evident for those watching at the ground level, but on television, voila.
And the name of this formation? Together We Soar.
Well, this two-dimension pyramid depicts the Singapore's youth's determination to work their way from the most basic level of education to the highest possible level, showing their opportunities for all. And that's a prop that's especially popular with the children.
Well, actually, Bernard, popular with children and those who are children at heart.
Like yourself? But watch carefully to see how these boys will integrate these lovely balloons into their formation.
Classic representation of the glow of ideas there on the stage, brightening the future of Singapore.
gigantic light bulbs there. Building bridges, forging futures, the overall theme of this year's National Day Parade.
The balloon in the middle there, symbolizing Singapore.
What is going to be another spectacular formation. There you go, signifying the determination of Singapore rising to the challenges of the future, providing the best education for our young, the building blocks of our society to take this small island to the global peak.
The release of ideas, free flow of creativity, taking us to greater heights as we transform into a global city of the new millennium.
Creativity, knowledge, education, lifelong learning, linking Singapore to the best in the world.
Giving us a brighter tomorrow. And speaking of bright,
the stars are indeed out tonight, yeah?
To see Warrior Key and Ripper Space, the Esplanade, and all of us. Because in Singapore, our hearts are big and wide to find. Because in Singapore, you'll find happiness for everyone.
72 men and women from MediaCorp doing their part for this National Day.
familiar faces from Channel-5 and 8, Surya, Central, City TV, Chinese Asia and Radio bring you this song, Singapore Town.
Because in Singapore, our hearts are big and wide to find. Because in Singapore, you'll find happiness for everyone. Singapore, our hearts are big and wide to find. Because in Singapore, you'll find happiness for everyone.
Lively item there from MediaCorp with some of the best love faces in Singapore wearing the signature blue.
Now this song's taking me back years to when I was a child. Remember the days, Bernard, when telephones were luxury?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to touch the phone back then. Used to do this as a child too with milk cans and raffia.
How I wish I could connect to the world.
Oh, how I wish I can connect to the world.
Well, in this item by the Singapore Soccer Association, or SSA, these milk cans aren't just ordinary milk cans.
Apart from being larger than life, they are to remind us of our communication capabilities and how far we've come since independence.
An incredible leap of technology that Singapore has adopted and brought to greater heights.
As we move into a world-class hub city, that's the goal of S21.
But with that flashback with the milk cans, we're now propelled forward for a peek into the future as we'd like Singapore to be a world-class city.
And this whirlpool is an expression of people, ideas and resources coming together. Singaporeans and foreign talents alike are drawn into the island to make it stronger and grow faster. 16 times this Buddhist organization has taken part in the National Day Parade.
Well, for this year 2001 performance, there are exactly 2001 SSA members on the field.
But apart from these people you're seeing on the field, there are hundreds of others behind the scenes staff, like trainers, logistics helpers and administrative personnel, working to make this item a success.
Now, you might remember the theme this National Day is Building Bridges, Forging Futures. The two earlier shows, the first by the People's Association, showcased shared values as laying the solid foundation.
Yes, and the item by the Ministry of Education paid tribute to education as a process, highlighting the roles both shared values and education play as bridges for Singaporeans to cross over into our future of the 21st century.
Well, this item by the SSA illustrates the destination of those bridges, Singapore as a global hub city. Well, Well, here is the vibrancy of our youth and future, that's the theme. But the key notion is that as active citizens, every Singaporean can contribute, no matter how old you are, what gender, race, or even whether you're born in Singapore or a foreign talent.
Well, it does seem that the SSA is practicing what it says. Flooding the field are members from as young as 13 to 40 years old, showing that there is potential in each and every Singaporean, that truly everyone matters.
A clever use of shadows cast by the lights in the stadium there.
SSA's interpretation of how, as one people with one vision, through racial harmony and social cohesion, there can be continued stability in Singapore.
Through this well-coordinated and choreographed display, SSA wants to show that though there are many bodies on the field right now, with one mind, we can all work for the growth and development of Singapore.
Well, this is perhaps the toughest part of the performance, in total darkness.
2001 Singapore Soccer Association members sweeping the stadium in darkness.
Their tribute to the sparkling achievements of our electronic industry, Singapore's largest domestic export.
Coming up is another formation. It's almost like the entire stadium with their own light bulbs taking part in this item.
And everybody's eyes focused on the field for what's coming up next.
With the formation of a microchip there, the SSA now pays tribute to the information technology industry of Singapore.
A strong IT foundation and advancement in this area are practically crucial now in the age of the new economy.
A clever indication there of the computer age, with the binary code flashed in the middle of the formation.
And accuracy and precision, or rather precision too, is highlighted here with the red digital clock light countdown at the bottom of your screen.
Just seconds to go before the new frontier in this SSA item.
And this next one, Strands of Moving DNA, features the second largest industry in the manufacturing sector, the chemical and life sciences sector.
The life sciences taking us into the future, even as it combines with IT, electronics, to make us the new star of the new millennium.
Speaking of stars, this formation pays tribute to tourism as a star in Singapore's service economy. 5 service quality stars to represent Singapore as a country of 5 cities.
A city of diverse culture,
A garden city,
a city of the arts,
a fun city,
and a gateway city. Singapore as a tourism springboard to explore the countries in Asia.
Singapore, one country, 5 cities, a world-class place to be.
A glittering performance by the more than 2,000 members of Singapore Soccer Association.
Spectacular view there you can see. A sparkling finish to this year's National Day Parade.
With all the participants of today's National Day celebration show pouring back into the stadium,
the audience is roped in to participate in this finale to passing now giant heart and other shaped balloons to the middle of the field.
well, these balloons featuring our S21 tenets that every Singaporean matters as we build our best homes, one founded on strong families and active citizens to sustain the Singapore heartbeat in a global city where there are opportunities for everyone.
Well, the finale of this year's parade begins with Another time, Tanya Chua coming back on stage again very soon to sing the theme song Where I Belong.
This too marks the climax of tonight's show.
Where I keep my heart and soul, where dreams come true for us, where we walk together hand in hand towards a future so bright. Where I belong, where I keep my heart and soul, where we are one big family. I want the whole world to know, I wanna shout it out loud, that this is where I know I belong. I want the whole world to know, I wanna shout it out loud, that this is where I know I belong.
Indeed, Singapore, where we belong.
And this is the moment many people have been waiting for in the stadium, and I'm sure for you watching at home as well. Taking our breath away, the long-awaited fireworks, the climax of every National Day parade. Absolute favorite with our 55,000 people here.
Color-changing peony, crackle star, glittering willow, butterfly with brocade crown stars.
In case you're wondering what are those are names of these fireworks. I wish we can make out what are they, what each of them refers to which design. Breathtaking. In the Shenton Way skyline, right here at the National Stadium.
Spectators showing their approval, their appreciation, their excitement.
And President S.R. Nathan as well, enjoying this parade, along with everybody else in the stadium. The best pyrotechnics from around the world, America, Europe and China.
And fired by the SAF's Rifle Range Camp.
Riding up the Singapore skyline, that senior minister enjoying a moment of laughter there.
Shows that this visual feast is one that is breathtaking for everyone, no matter who you are.
The fireworks display is accompanied by the music of Singapore Symphony Orchestra. And there's Prime Minister Go.
What a celebration this is turning out to be. Singapore's 36th birthday.
The atmosphere here in the stadium is indeed soaring, just like the amazing fireworks exploding above and around us. Beautiful, spectacular. And there you see the globe, Singapore's aspirations to be a glowing presence in a worldwide map, as symbolized there by the giant globe in the background, measuring 20 meters in diameter.
Digitally choreographed, reminiscent of a musical fountain, this is the Golden Waterfall Fireworks.
Waterfall. Looks like waterfall, doesn't it?
And now, Bernard, turn up the volume of your television set while we're showing one and sing along with us here at the stadium our national songs.
For Singapore, do the best you can. For Singapore.
Time to stand up for Singapore, and indeed standing up for Singapore, the 72 MediaCorp artists on stage, along with our combined school choir and our VIPs, singing together in one voice. One voice for Singapore.
Singapore, our home and
see all of today's participants on the field forming the Singapore Island.
Reminding us that Singapore is made up of each and every one of us, our contribution, our potential, that every Singaporean makes a difference in the shaping of our country, our destiny.
One people, one nation, one voice, one Singapore. Together we'll propel our country into the new millennium as a world-class global city. Shot of the giant globe, our destination for Singapore, to make Singapore a global hub city, and the balloons connecting Singapore and to the rest of the world. The string of balloons there, as you can see.
The balloons, this bridge of balloons symbolizing the bridge is built by the foundation of our shared values and a creative education.
Singapore, everyone at the stadium in unison, signaling their pride and support for Singapore tonight.
The entire stadium in one voice for Singapore's 36th birthday.
More fireworks, and I'm sure if you're watching us at home, you can catch some of these fireworks if you're around the National Stadium vicinity. Absolutely breathtaking. A brilliant conclusion to a night of light and inspiration for our country.
Flag for all to see, 20 by 30 meters and weighing 30 kilograms, is the first time a flag of such dimensions is raised inside the National Stadium.
We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for our nation. Singapura sama-sama menuju
special arrangement of our national anthem with the introduction sung in a cappella by 4 young soloists for each of Singapore's 4 main races.
Before that, 36 pledge takers, one for every year of Singapore's independence and representing every aspect of our total defense, leading the recitation of the national pledge.
More than 500,000 Singaporeans signed in support.
The signatures of these 36 pledge takers supporting our vision, the 5 tenets of our S21 Vision, is crafted into an easy-to-remember paragraph, and this will be presented in a bound book to President Nathan.
This book represents the commitment and promise of all in Singapore to work together to achieve our S21 vision, where every Singaporean matters as we build our best home, where strong families and active citizens sustain the Singapore heartbeat in our global city, where there are opportunities for all. President Nathan receiving the book of our vision.
Five members of the 36 pledge takers, each representing each of the 5 total defense sectors.
Ladies and gentlemen, our President will now take his leave. On behalf of Singapore, thank you, Mr. President, for joining us this evening.
President Nathan prepares to take his leave of us. This is the second year Mr. Nathan is attending our National Day celebrations as President. And in 9 days, on the 18th of August, he will enter his 3rd year in office as President of Singapore.
And a resounding farewell for President Nathan.
Well, tonight, Singapore celebrates 36 proud years of independence with a vision to continue reaching for the best for every Singaporean.
And with our shared values as foundation, creative education as the process to attain the destination, the goal of making Singapore a global hub city,
building bridges of knowledge to reach out to the world, to become a bridge for the world.
And as the Prime Minister Chok has indicated, while we celebrate this National Day in a somber economic environment, Singaporeans need not be pessimistic.
Mr. Goh added that while difficult but essential changes are at hand, in the longer term, these changes will help Singapore and Singaporeans prosper. We leave you now with this quote from Prime Minister Goh.
Let us stay united and resolute and show once again that whatever challenges, together as partners, the government and the people, we will prevail.
Singapore, thank you for sharing this special evening with us.
Well, I'm Melissa Hyak.
And I'm Bernard Lim, and hey Melissa, what do you think? Let's go on down to the field and join everybody else at the National Stadium for a party, shall we?
All 55,000 of them?
Yep.
Okay, sounds like a great idea. Well, on behalf of MediaCorp,
happy 36 Singapore.
Good night.
Good night. National Day Parade was brought to you by the following sponsors: